Rain tapped against the wrecked shell of what used to be an armored personnel carrier. The windshield was gone, punched out by something smarter than an RPG. Now it was just a source of shade. Inside, lit by the soft green glow of a cracked HUD, 2 soldiers sat in silence. One was young, shaved. The other had a big beard and looked like he'd been born in fatigues. "Both sides call it law enforcement," the older man muttered. "Restore order. Bring back rule of law," the younger said, checking the contents of a spare mag. "Yeah," the older man said, and then the criminals started fielding stealth recon and anti-air lasers. The kid's voice dropped. "You ever see that clip of the army convoy getting shredded?" "Which one?" "First day. Private security company. 11 vehicles. 5 armored drones, 2 hover medics, AI combat routing. They got hit by some kind of rolling EMP net and a loitering drone strike at the same time. Coordinated. I've heard Falcon works gears 2 gens ahead of ours." "It is," the older man said slowly. The younger Marine hadn't been in uniform long, but he knew what it sounded like when a man was remembering a bad day. The invasion was supposed to be clean. Ancapistan had no government, after all, no army, no national defenses. They called it a lawless zone. A territory that had abdicated sovereign responsibility. And if you believe the mission briefings, we were the good guys, showing up late to a party full of looters and traffickers, ready to put things in order. Of course we expected a response, but not one that looked like this. Markets didn't panic when we announced sanctions, they adapted. Property syndicates coordinated region-wide defense contracts. Insurance pools merged overnight into armed co-ops. A dozen firms went dark and re-emerged as paramilitary contractors, better equipped than us. Their exosuits ran silent, their optics weren't in our database, and their weapons were smart in ways ours weren't. They didn't have force projection. They had force emergence, swarming, decentralized, unpredictable. We came expecting resistance. We didn't expect it to move like a living network. "They don't think we're soldiers, or Marines," the older man muttered. The younger man nodded. "They don't even think this is a war. They see us like a cartel that crossed a line. Armed gang rolls into a free district to extort and seize property. That's not war to them. That's just crime, I guess," the younger man said, shifting, trying to find a comfortable way to sit. "You ever see how they talk about us in their media? Not once have I ever heard them talk about victory. It's always restitution. Retaliation. Defense of property. You burn a warehouse, they don't fly a flag, they calculate damages." The older man smiled grimly. "You notice they don't fight to win either. They fight to cost." "Yeah," the kid muttered. "Like billing by bullet. But that gives us an advantage, right? We don't have to worry about money." "Ha!" the older man chortled. "You'd better be worried about money, Private. There's a bounty on your head." Every raid we launched was countered within hours. At no point in the campaign had we been able to establish stable logistical lines. Without fail, our support divisions were hampered and harangued on every mission. Supply drops intercepted. Comms tapped. Every convoy had a price. Every officer a bounty. Hell, some of them were streaming live feeds with betting pools on where we'd strike next. The civilian sector didn't collapse. It just rerouted. Mesh networks. Crypto exchanges. Black markets ran white-glove logistics faster than our command chain could adapt. They didn't resist occupation, they denied its premise. We were fighting the entire economy. We were used to taking capitals. They didn't have capitals. Sure, we could take a courthouse, but there wouldn't be some high-powered judge to hold ransom because those didn't exist, just like there was no legislature or party leaders, no palace or sovereign. We could hold ground in their urban centers, but that just meant being surrounded by more insurgents. There wasn't any central urban planning, just a patchwork of overlapping hubs. Clusters of industry, housing, defense, and commerce all interwoven with little to no formal zoning. Calling them cities felt wrong. They were something else entirely. Sure, we could hold ground in their most densely populated areas, but that just meant being surrounded by more insurgents. Fractal economies. Self-healing infrastructure. You blow up a substation, but as soon as your people move out, 3 generators show up from different owners an hour later and start running on pre-sold futures. It was all automated. Back home, we're taught law comes from the top, the kid said one night in the trench. But here, law's a service. The older man grunted as his answer. Like, if I steal your gear and someone's got a bounty contract out, that's the law. But there's no referee. Just enforcement and arbitration. Like Yelp, but with guns. It's not lawless, the older man finally said. It's just not ours. They tried to corner us in a valley just west of their densest manufacturing corridor. It was supposed to be an easy containment op, an old manufacturing sector, mostly vacant. Instead, we walked into a tactical nightmare. They funneled us into dead zones. Drones clipped our armor. Our HUDs glitched, scrambled by what we thought was a jam. Turned out it was malware piggybacked from a vending machine we passed 3 clicks back. By the end of the night, we'd lost 8 vehicles and a third of the platoon. Not one enemy body was recovered. There isn't even anyone in a position to sign a treaty if we offered them one. The bearded Marine said when someone mentioned suing for peace. We thought we were bringing civilization, the kid said, voice shaking. But I don't think they see us as civilized. The older man looked at the scorched horizon. When we're gone, he said, no one will plant a flag. No one will claim victory. Because in their eyes, this wasn't a war. He let the words hang. It was a criminal incident. And we were the perps,